In this quick and easy tutorial, I am going to show you how you can start your own online podcast for free and finally start taking advantage of this incredible opportunity to grow your audience online. So this video will show you exactly how you can start for free without having to buy any fancy gear. Hey everyone, Matt Giaro here, and this channel is for content creators who want to turn their ideas into an income. So if that sounds like you, hit the subscribe button now. And at any point in the video, feel free to download the free PDF in the description, which is a complete checklist to start successfully your first podcast. So right now, let's dig deeper into the 5 steps that you have to get right in order to start your podcast for free. So the first thing that we are going to do, obviously, is just to record the first episode. So for that, I highly recommend you to take advantage of the tools that you already have. What I mean is actually your smartphone, because the microphone on today's smartphone are enough in order just to get started. So no need to buy fancy gear, just take advantage of your phone. And of course, there are some techniques on how you should hold your phone. I'm going to give you those techniques in the PDF in the description. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull out my iPhone and just go straight into the voice recorder app. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going just to hit the record button and start recording my first episode. Hey everyone, Matt Giaro here, and this is the first episode of my brand new podcast. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast, and I see you guys in the second episode. So as you can see, I just recorded a quick episode. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share this episode directly with AirDrop and just send it straight to my computer. So let's do that. And here, as you can see, I have my first episode. Great. So right now what we are going to do is we're going to use a little bit of processing here, because we certainly don't want our podcast to be a pain to listen to for our listeners. So there is a great service that you can use that will give you 2 hours processing for free, which is called Auphonic. So what you're going to do, you're going to sign up for a free account, and once you just created your account, what you're going to do, you're going to click here on New Production. So now what you have to do is you just have to select your first podcast file. So in my case, it's this recording here. And right now I'm going just to put a basic title and just fill out the basic metadata here. Okay, great. So now we're just going to select a few options here. We can leave this in mono here. We can add the noise and the hum reduction, and the rest, everything is fine. Start production. So right now, as you can see, it's a small file. It's already been uploaded. Right now it's processing, and it should be ready in just a few seconds here. Okay, great. So as you can see right now, I have my first podcast here, and then just listen to it. Hey everyone, Matt Giaro here, and this is the first episode of my brand new podcast. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast, and I see you guys in the second episode. Great. So right now what I can do, I can just download the episode here. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to create an artwork for our podcast. So what is actually an artwork for the podcast? It is actually the artwork that you can see when just playing the podcast. So for that, we're going to use a free tool called Canva that you probably already know. And right now what I'm going to do after creating a free account, I'm just going to hit here, create a design, and I'm going to use a custom size of 3000 by 3000 pixel. And right now what I'm going to do, I'm going just to design this quickly here. So I'm going to use a green background. Let's make it a little bit pop up here. Add a header here. Here I'm going to put just the name of the show. So let's assume the name of the show is just my new podcast. Of course, it would not be that, but just to show you what it should actually look like. So we can just make this bigger here, because don't forget, people are going to listen to the show on a mobile. So we don't want to overload our artwork with too much text. It just has to be clean and simple. Let me just change the color here. Maybe we shall add a little bit of a shadow. Let's just add this rectangle here. Okay, great. And I could just also add a little microphone here, a little icon in order to illustrate my new podcast. So in order just to have the colors right here, I think that I'm going to change this into black and maybe also just delete the effect and just leave it like that. Okay, great. So right now I have my artwork. What I can do right now is I can just download this artwork here. It's saved into my computer. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to continue to step number 5. And right now what we need is actually a platform where we can host our podcast. So for that, there is a great solution right now called Anchor, which allows you to create and host a podcast literally for free. So right now what we're going to do, we're just going to create a new account here. Right now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to verify my email. So let's just click that link here. Great. And right now I just can continue to the dashboard. We're just going to create a podcast here. So my new podcast. Here I'm going to put some description. Right now, obviously, it's just a demo podcast here. I can just choose the category. Let's assume it's business and entrepreneurship. The language, English, continue. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on upload an image. I'm going to select the artwork we just created in Canva. As you can see, I can just click on continue. What I'm going to deselect here is I don't want any text. I don't want any Anchor logo. I click on update artwork and it should be ready to go. Great. So right now, as you can see, I have everything ready here, and let's just click on save here. And right now what I can do is I can just go and publish my new episode. So I already created my episode. I already processed it. So right now what I can do, I can just click here, click to upload or drag files here. Here is the podcast we just processed in Auphonic. The only thing, obviously, what you're going to do is you're going to update the file name of the podcast. So right now, as you can see, it's processing. And what I can do right now is I can also edit the title here. This is my first episode. Great. Save episode. So now I can just add a title here. This is my first episode. And here I can just put some random text here. Of course, what you're going to do is you're going to put, obviously, the description of your episode here. So, but as this is only for test purposes, let's just continue here with this. Ready to publish. Let's publish this. And right now, as you can see, you're almost live. Right now, what we have done is we just created our podcast. So right now, what's pretty interesting is you have like different links here. And what we are going to do right now is we are just continuing with the 5th step of the tutorial, which is distribution. So right now, our podcast will be available on Spotify and on Anchor, but this is actually not enough because we also want our podcast on the major platforms like Google Podcast and Apple Podcasts. So right now, what we have to do is we have to submit the RSS feed, and the RSS feed is actually what we have here. We just can enable this, and then we have just to copy this link. And right now what we're going to do is we are going to Google Podcast Manager. I will leave a link in the description down below. And also we're going to submit the show to Apple Podcasts. So let's just go through the process here. We just go to the Google Podcast Manager. Let's just start this. And they are asking for the RSS feed. We just copied this. Let's just click on next step. Right now, you can see it directly pulled the artwork. I guess there is a little bit an issue because I've just updated it. But anyways, this should be like the right artwork anyways. So then you will have here the episodes that are already published. So, and then you can just continue the steps here because I'm not going to do this because this is actually just a test podcast. Okay, so you're just going to continue the verification step. Same thing goes for Apple Podcasts. What you're going to do, you're going just to sign in with your iCloud account. If you don't have an iCloud account, you can just create a new one, and then you just have to submit the RSS feed on Apple Podcasts. And voila, that's it. Congratulations, you just created your first podcast for free. And what you have to do right now, you just have to be consistent and continue publishing your podcast. So there are a few other tips that I wanted to share with you, but I wanted to make this video short and sweet. So be sure to check out the free PDF that you can get by clicking the first link in the description. It will show you exactly how to use the phone that you already have, how to get the best out of it, and really show you exactly the step-by-step process. If you appreciate this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to release more content like that in the future. And after that, feel free also to watch another video on the channel. I'm sure that YouTube has a great recommendation for you right now. And with that being said, I see you in the next one.